as you probably see from the title and thumbnail, this is about Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. Don't know when I'm uploading this. I'm making it, though, at 9:52 a.m. So, look. This show is another Power Ranger series. I reviewed Mystic Force a while back, called it a 9 out of 10. So let me give you the review of Operation Overdrive. Our show starts out with Mac and then Mac's father, who I cannot remember the name of. Excuse me. But Mac and Mac's father. So Mac and Mac's father are basically explorers and stuff, and they gotta go find these things. And then they find this Corona Aurora. I know, right? It's called Corona. Not great for this time, but it was made in 2007, okay? So it's like, 14 years ago. Anyways, and find the Corona Aurora, and then they gotta bring it back, but then they lose it. Not only did they lose it, but then the villains that tried to get it also lose it. So then it's a search for the Corona Aurora for the next 31 episodes. But for the next 30, because that was just episode 1. So Mac wasn't even meant to be a Power Ranger. Mac's father was. Now, Mac's father then can't use it, okay? And then in the moment, Mac gets it and uses it. But after episode 1, Mac's father says, okay, you used it, but you're not going to be the Red Ranger. But then episode 2, he also has to do it. So basically, eventually, he gets forced into this leadership role. And Mac doesn't even know that much about himself, you know? There seems to be something missing about Mac. But we don't know what it is yet, right? But he's a very good leader. Until about episode 7, when Black Ranger seems to leave them and become evil. So then Black Ranger knows everything about them. And it becomes very tough, like, early part of the season, from episode 6 to, 11, if I'm getting my times right, I think. Until you find out Black Ranger was sabotaging the evil guys. Now, there's 2 evil teams. There's the Snow Evil team, which is the Snow Goblin guy, and then there's the Fire Goblin guy, and both of them are brothers. Now, the Snow Goblin guy has Ice Yeti dude, who's hilarious and is a very good character, okay? And he's just funny, but he gets bullied a lot by his freaking master Ice Goblin guy, right? Yet he keeps going back, which kind of is a say on society standards of, you get messed up with someone, but you keep going back even though they're toxic. I think that's a huge thing in that episode, and really the series has a lot of deep undertones. Kind of like Mac and his dad's relationship, how then his dad all of a sudden starts accepting him as the leader, okay? As the leader. Now, there's also their butler, okay? And if I didn't say, Mac lives in a mansion, okay? So Mac does seem like he has everything given to him, but at the same time, you gotta feel bad for the guy because now he's leading a whole team to save the universe, okay? So you're like, what the heck? But you still can't relate to this guy because he's at upper status and he's leading a Power Rangers, and it seems like, it's just everything's given to him, right? But he has struggles, but you don't know what he's struggling about still. Okay? And I'm saying this because I didn't know either. And as the viewer, without spoiling this early on, because I will spoil it by the end, which go back and watch it. It's in 2007. What the heck? But basically, Mac is then not understood, okay? With all this being said, they keep going in the series. They keep trying to find the Corona Aurora. They're going all over the world for it, right? They're fighting all these different people, doing all these different things, getting Megazords, combining together, really building out a fleshed out team, okay? And then in an episode, they find Mercury Ranger. Now, this guy's confused. He's lost. He doesn't know where his wife, I'm pretty sure his wife is now, okay? He was married, and he just landed on Earth, and it's like, what the heck? And he's Mercury Ranger. You don't know that until eventually he reveals that he's Mercury Ranger, and everybody else does that to get charged up. He just presses a watch thing, which is pretty cool, and it actually reminds me of different series. I know Jungle Fury has shades, and I think one of them had the watch, but I don't remember which one. But this line has that, okay? The reason I watched it was because I owned a toy. I think I still do, actually, one of my very first toys, and it's the Blue Ranger from Operation Overdrive, okay? And he's a pretty cool character. And then there's the smart character, and all these people really have to find that it's okay to be yourself, right? Yet Mac is starting to ask questions like, why don't I remember these certain things, these details, right? Why do I see these pictures, but I don't remember, my whole life. Like, I just remember it, but like, there's missing details, right? We still don't know what's going on with Mac. Now, Mercury Ranger's found out, but we don't know where Mercury Ranger's wife is. But the Yeti comes back and actually saves her by fighting off all of these evil dudes that his so-called master and good, take care of him is there. He's not. But the guy caught Mac. Yeti also saves Mac out of there. Okay? So basically, this Yeti is carrying the team. Okay? But then in about episode 28, they got to fight these cat dudes who are also looking for the Corona Aurora. And it's like, there are 3 different evil villains at the time. They get rid of the cat dudes. They get rid of the magma guy. But now the ice dude becomes this super full freaking form of himself. And is like super goated. Okay? And before we get to that, I got to get to episode 29, which is the big reveal of what happened to Mac. So the butler basically says, you got to tell him. You gotta tell your son what's going on. He's like, all right, I got you. I'll tell him. I'll tell him. I think it's time. He's old enough, whatever. So he goes up to him, and at the time you're thinking maybe he's adopted, maybe he freaking had a big brain injury, like something happened. But then you find out he's half cyborg, half non-human. He's a robot, sort of, right? So this breaks him inside, okay? And then the whole group finds out, and they're all pretty mad at the father. In episode 30, they kind of do their own thing, okay? But then in episode 31, they got to go back. They talk to him. They're like, we got to go save the world. It's now or never. We don't know how we're going to do it. But Mac's like, I'm going to lead. I'm going to be the leader. I've needed to be the whole series. So Mac goes out there, half human, half robot, just found it out. Probably timeline-wise, like 2 weeks ago. So obviously, humongous change in his life, and now he's gonna go save the world. So then the guy goes, no human can defeat me. No human can defeat me. Matt goes, good thing I'm not a human. Walks up, and then he goes, you guys fight all these goons. I will fight for the main Corona Aurora crown. Okay? So now he's going, and he sacrifices his life for the greater good. And he dies. Like, he legit dies for, like, he's dead, right? And he's laying there. And they're all like, come on, can you revive him? And then they're like, no. And then the Yellow Ranger lady, she's like, well, you built him once, build him again, right? Because you built him as a robot. You made all those memories in him. You basically faked his existence, so do it again. But then the dad's like, I can't do that because then it wouldn't be the Mac I know. Right? Which then shows that he does care about Mac. Although he hasn't had Mac for like the 20 years that he supposedly is. He's only had him for like 3. But he had a super fast life. He does care about him. And this got me emotional. It's getting me emotional now. Because I really love the relationship that they fleshed out in the Power Ranger series. But he's dead. And like, you really get brought into this thing of, holy crap, I just watched that death happen. And you're like, he can't die. So then this little freaking dude comes in. No, he's big, whatever. He's like my size. Guy comes in and goes, you know what? You guys saved the Corona Aurora. I was always indebted to you. He's like, this is cause for celebration. He's like, why aren't you celebrating? And they're like, it's not time to celebrate. They're all sad. He's there. He's dead. And then he goes, well, this can bring, sorrow and death, but it can also bring life. It can relive people. And then they're like, he's not a person. He's like, what do you mean? And then they're like, he's not human. And then he said, he fought with human heart. And for that, I can repay him. He said, prop the boy up, puts it on him. He wakes up. Not only does he wake up, he gets a human heart, and he goes from cyborg to full-on human. And then him and his dad get to relive what they actually missed out on those years. They get to go exploring, having fun in the world. So in this 9 minutes that I just talked about a whole series, I want you to understand something. Overdrive's theme song is incredible. Their messages are great. They have like 2 to 3, they have at one point, I think 4 different evil groups going on. They have all these different funny characters, different layers, different story arcs to different people. Different characters have different stories and days to them. And with all that being said, it comes down to one thing. How good is this show? I gave 9 out of 10 to Mystic Force. I would probably bump Mystic Force down to 8 out of 10. No offense to Mystic Force, but after watching this, again, a while back, probably 8 months ago, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I don't think a Power Rangers series is ever supposed to be super duper real. Obviously, it did emotional things by making a cyborg and by using a Yeti and having a Mercury Ranger that got to reunite with his wife that you met 5 episodes ago. So again, kind of forced emotional things. But for a series that, they don't get a ton of money, and you can tell by what they do with it, in a successful series like Power Rangers, where it was trying to find itself, because 90s, the early 2000s Power Rangers, it had its own thing. But Operation Overdrive was the transitional period from pre-Overdrive to after it, which was Jungle Fury, RPM, Samurai, Megaforce. And then after Megaforce, I'd say then it's a different thing of whole Ninja Steel, Dino Charge, and Beast Morphers or whatever. All of those there's like different things, but there's transitional ones. And I'd say one was probably Power Rangers Space Force. Didn't watch it. But I'm saying these are different ones that, usually they're just transitional from one period of Power Rangers to another. But this one did not only transition, but told its own story and stood apart from the others, to me, of the ones that I've watched, as a great show. I would recommend watching it. I would recommend you guys have a good day. I gotta get to work. I work pretty early today. I love you guys. I will try to upload more in the future. I hope you like that new quick intro I did. Shout out to Ben for it. Thank you guys. Until next time, when I see you again, I will be ending the video like this. Yo, Affleck. Out.